It is just before midnight, the 23rd of June, 1944, the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. No moon, low cloud, a black sea running under a black sky, and on that black water, a submarine surfaces. 2,500 tons of Japanese steel, rising into the weather. Her crew has no reason to be afraid. They are 1,000 miles from anywhere. No one, they believe, knows they are here. They are wrong. Someone has known exactly where they would be for weeks, and out of the dark, engines already cut, an American aircraft is falling toward them. Her name was I-52. Her code name was Momi, Fir Tree. She was not built to fight. She was one of only 3 cargo submarines of her kind Japan ever completed, out of 20 planned. 350 feet of hull wrapped around a 300-ton hold. She carried 6 torpedo tubes, but only for defense. Her real weapon was her range. 21,000 nautical miles, far enough to slip from Japan to occupied France and back, without ever touching a friendly port. She left home waters in March 1944, commanded by Uno Kameo, and pointed her bow at a German submarine base on the coast of France. 109 souls aboard, and in her belly she carried a fortune. The manifest, recovered decades later, is exact. 2 metric tons of gold, 146 bars packed into 49 metal boxes. It was payment. Japanese gold for German precision the Japanese could not make themselves. Optical glass, gun sights, the lenses of an empire that needed to see farther than it could. Around the gold, tin, tungsten, rubber, quinine, 3 tons of opium, and 14 engineers sent to learn the secrets of German radar. She was a single hull carrying everything 2 desperate allies had to trade. She was, quite literally, worth her weight in gold. Here is what the men aboard I-52 could not know. From the moment she sent her first radio signal, the Allies were listening, and not just listening, reading. Her orders were encrypted. It didn't matter. Codebreakers thousands of miles away were pulling her secrets out of the air, one message at a time. Her route, her schedule, and the single most dangerous detail of all, a planned meeting in the open ocean with a German U-boat called U-530. They knew the place. They knew the night. They knew it before I-52 had even cleared Singapore. The most powerful weapon aimed at that submarine was not a torpedo. It was a quiet room, full of people reading someone else's mail. To spring the trap, the Americans sent a hunter-killer group built around a small aircraft carrier, the USS Bogue. Her aircraft did not patrol at random. They were sent to one patch of empty sea to wait for a submarine that thought it was invisible. And this was not the Bogue's first kill on the crossing. Just weeks earlier, the same task force had already sent another blockade runner to the bottom. 2 secret cargo submarines, 1 carrier group, 1 summer. The highway between Japan and Germany was wide open, and I-52 was driving straight down the middle of it. Near midnight, I-52 surfaced to keep her appointment with U-530. 2 radar technicians and their equipment came across the water from the German boat. For a few minutes on that dark sea, the plan was working. Then Lieutenant Commander Jesse Taylor's Avenger came down out of the cloud. He had cut his engine to a whisper. His first pass dropped depth bombs into the water around her. Close, but not close enough. I-52 slid beneath the surface and ran. But you cannot outrun what can hear you. The Americans dropped a ring of sonobuoys, floating microphones, listening in the dark. Hours later, a second Avenger under Bill Gordon caught the sound of her propellers turning deep below, and then he released a weapon so new it was still a secret. An acoustic torpedo, built to listen for a submarine and steer itself toward the noise. It went into the water and it started to hunt. Somewhere below, in the crushing black, it found the sound it was looking for.
This wall is 102 cases most channels never bother to translate. Subscribe for the next one. And now, back to where you left off.
I-52 went down with all 109 men aboard. U-530 slipped away into the night and lived. When the sun came up, the task force sailed across the spot. There was no submarine. There was only what floats, torn rubber, splintered wood, debris spread across the swell. And among it, The sea gave back what it always gives back after a thing like this. Aboard the carrier, a microphone had been running through the whole attack. Taylor's voice, the engines, the moment of the kill, recorded onto wire and preserved. Both pilots were given the Distinguished Flying Cross. And then the war moved on, and I-52 became a set of numbers in a logbook, a position, a depth, a guess, and here the trail went cold for half a century, because that position in the logbook was wrong. A night attack, foul weather, aircraft flying at the very edge of their fuel, navigating by dead reckoning over a featureless sea. The recorded spot was off by 10, maybe 20 miles. In 3 miles of water, that is not a location. That is an ocean. I-52 and her 2 tons of gold simply disappeared. Then, in 1990, a Vietnam veteran and self-taught historian named Paul Tidwell went looking for her. For 5 years, he worked the archives, America, Britain, Germany, Japan, until he held the carrier's real deck log, the pilot's own attack report, and the German U-boat's war diary. In the spring of 1995, he took a Russian research ship out over the deep and began to search. For 2 weeks, the sonar found nothing. The ship was running out of fuel and food. They were ready to give up. Then an analyst named David Jourdan reran the numbers, combined every log, every course, every drift, and pointed them to a spot 10 miles from where the Navy had always said she lay. On the 2nd of May, 1995, 3 miles down, she rose onto the sonar screen, upright, her conning tower intact, her hull number still legible in the dark, and a single torpedo wound behind the tower. They lowered equipment into the debris field and brought a single metal box up through 3 miles of water, hearts pounding, certain it was gold. It was opium. The gold was never recovered. It is still down there, almost certainly sealed inside the broken bow. 146 bars worth something near $200 million today, sitting in the dark where no one can reach it. There is a story people wanted about I-52, sunken treasure, a fortune waiting in the deep. Some even claimed her diplomatic pouches held a secret Japanese peace offer, a war that might have ended early. Historians doubt it, and so should we. Japan was not suing for peace that summer, because the real ending is quieter and better. When Tidwell finally saw the wreck, something in him changed. He stopped hunting treasure and started tracking down the families of the men who died aboard her. He asked their blessing. He worked with a government that calls that place what it is, a war grave. And on one dive, his team lowered a Japanese naval ensign down onto the hull. Later cameras found the crew's shoes and clothing scattered on the seabed. 109 men are still there, with their gold, 3 miles beneath the Atlantic. The Allies read every word she ever sent. It took 50 years and a change of heart to finally read the only thing that mattered, that she was never just a cargo of gold. She was a crew,